Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are back in TryHackMe and we are doing the investigating Windows room. So a Windows machine has been hacked. It's our job to go investigate this Windows machine and find clues to what the hacker might have done. So I already have the machine up and running. I'm gonna RDP into it real quick here. And I was trying to capture this login because there is a little juicy nugget that's going to pop up here in a second. It's going to provide us an answer for our first question. Hopefully it works or shows. Let's give it a second here. All right, got this weird PowerShell pop up, and should be one more thing that shows. There it is. So this IP address here. So the first question that we can answer is, what IP does the system connect to when it first starts? And that is at 10.34.2.3. So we're going to start with the question number one. What is the version and year of the Windows machine? So I'm going to go to System Information if this virtual machine will act right. So we're going to System Information, and then the first item here is the OS name, and we see is Microsoft Windows Server 2016. So Windows Server 2016. And we're looking for question number two, which user logged in last? And we can either use, I think, Event Viewer for this, or we can run a quick command via the command prompt. And I'll make this a bit bigger so that you can see. All right, it's huge, but perfect. So net user, and we can see the logged in users. So we have administrator, we have default account, guest, Jenny, John. Actually, we will use Event Viewer for this. We're going to use the command line for something else here shortly. And let's go ahead and Google something real quick. We're looking for the event ID for logins. Successful account login event is 4624. So we will go back to our session here and look at Event Viewer. Security shows log on events. And we're looking for 4624, I believe. Actually, we could have just dived into the logs first, kind of reverse engineered the event ID from it, but either way. So event ID 4624. And we're going to filter by time here, or sort by time. These are the most recent. You see administrator being me, the person who just logged on, and we have some it's like a system or a service account or something. I'm gonna keep going. So the last log on before me was 8/22/23 at 2:30:42, I believe. And let's go back to TryHackMe to make sure that's correct. Oh, which user logged in last? So administrator, not the time. When did John log into the system last? And this is, we're going to use the command line for this. So net user John, and we see the password, or sorry, the last login was 3/2/2019, and we have the time as well. So I'm going to highlight all of this with the left click and then copy it by just simply clicking or hitting the right click or right button, whatever you call it. And let's go back to TryHackMe. It's kind of hard going back and forth, but just bear with me. So, oh, it's incorrect. It's missing the zeros. Format is important. All right, so we answered this a few minutes ago. What two accounts had administrator privileges other than the administrator user? And we can use the command line for this. So first let's actually look at the command page for net, just so we're all on the same page here. So net commands allows you to perform operations on groups, users, accounts, account policies, shares, and so on. So you can view, you can modify, and I'm trying to get a list of commands. So you can get statistics, you can view computers, you can view groups, you can look up information on a singular account, which is what we're doing here, and we can stop network services, display time. So there's a lot of uses for the net command. And let's go back to our virtual machine here, and I forgot the question. I think it was the other users that were local administrators. And there's two ways to go about this, but or there's more than two ways, but so first we can go to user manager, I think .msc, yep. And go to groups, administrators. We can see the admins listed here, the local admins, not network admins. And then we can go to the command line and use net local group, hit enter. If that will run. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to specify. So net local group lists all the local groups on the device, but we can specify which one we want to view, and we want to see the administrators. So net local group administrators. And again, we've seen the same information here. So the other two local admins other than administrator are guest and Jenny. And again, format matters. I believe it's guest first, then Jenny. Nope, other way around. Jenny, guest. All right, so what is the name of the scheduled task that is malicious? And going back to our VM, task scheduler. Go to the library. We can view all of the scheduled tasks that are defined on this machine. So already we see some weird stuff. So we see this clean file system. Go to actions. We can see it's starting in a fake or a user created temp folder. This is not the default temp folder that Windows creates by default. And we can figure that out by going to Google. Google is always your best friend. Windows temp folder location. So the folder is typically located in the app data local temp directory. And we can also check the environmental variables on the machine. I believe it's in system information too. Let's see, is it still open? Yep, cool. Software environment variables. And you can see these that have been these directories, file paths that have been defined previously or already, and none of them are include that C temp directory that we just saw. So that stands out already as being a little bit suspicious. We see some, which I can't make this bigger, but hopefully you can see this. We have some misspellings, false update. I guess it's supposed to be flash update. This weird one called game over. And we can see this executable that's dumping logon passwords into a ctemp o.txt file. Let's see what else we have here. Check logged in. It's kind of weird. Clean file system. We have something that looks like netcat. Creating a listener on port 1348. So that's kind of interesting too. And I'm just assuming that's netcat just based on the name. And this looks like mimikatz based on the name, but we'll dive into these files a bit later. So yeah, what was the question? What's the name of the scheduled task that is malicious? So just following the answer format, I would say that there are more than one scheduled task that's malicious, but it's looking for something specific. And that's this clean file system. And so that's the netcat or nc.ps1. And we can actually see exactly what that file is. So let's visit that directory. We have this weird pop-up that's happening every 5 minutes, I believe. That mem.exe. Yeah, every 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure that's mimikatz. But again, we will check that here shortly. So let's go to temp, ctemp, then nc.ps1, which is right here. We can hit edit, and it opens Windows PowerShell ISE. If it will open, just give it a second. All right, so yep, netcat, the PowerShell version, and we have a GitHub repository we can travel to read more about it. But basically, netcat allows you to initiate a connection between systems, basically, or computers. And you can see that in task scheduler we saw, I think it was nc-l, so netcat-l port 1348. And if we go to the docs and the folder we were just at, you can see listen mode, start listener on the port specified by P. Oh wait, this is, I guess this is for that. I don't know. It looks like it's not wrapped correctly or something. I don't know. But listen mode starts the listener on the port specified. I think this is supposed to be L, but whatever. So yeah, it's creating a listener on that port 1348. And so let's go ahead and enter this answer into TryHackMe. So clean file system is the name of the scheduled task that is malicious. Clean file system. So what file was the task trying to run daily? And that is the nc.ps1. What port did this file listen locally for? 1348. We just saw that. When did Jenny last log on? Let's go back here. And we can use net again. So let me clear that. And we can use net user Jenny. And we can see the last log on is here. It says never. So this user has never logged on. It was created, but it was never actively logged into, or logged into, period. So never. At what date did the compromise take place? So there are several artifacts that point to the date of the intrusion or compromise. If we go back, we can see, so the date that this user was created, a little suspicious. We also have the date that this directory was created, which was 3/2/2019. And that's when all of these files were dumped in here. And also something to note, you see some file modifications have taken place on that day as well. And these other three directories is inet pub, users, and Windows directories. So that's interesting. But yeah, from those artifacts, we can surmise that 3/2/19 was the date of the compromise. Let's go back to TryHackMe. So 03/02/2019. During the compromise, at what time did Windows first assign special privileges to a new logon? So this question is weird, and I'll show you why in a second. But I had to use the hint to figure out exactly what time it was, because it's, like I said, it's a weird question. And you'll see why I'm saying that in a second. So I had to Google what the event ID was for assigning special privileges to a new logon. So let's go ahead and do that again. So 4672. Let's go back to event viewer down here. Event viewer 40. We're looking for 4672, and we're going to filter on 3219 just to have less results and less things to look through, less stuff to confuse us. And where is it at? Anytime, custom range. You can come up here and specify a date range that you want to look at. So events on what did I say? 3/2/19, I believe. 03/2/2019, and we're going to go from 12. It's going to default to 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. So just the entire day, basically, or 11:59, I guess. 11:59. And I wonder if I can copy and paste. Nope, we can't. It's 3/2/2019. So why I said that question was weird is because let's sort by time once again. So the first event is here at 4/2/58. You see the special privileges assigned to a new logon, but that is not the answer that they're looking for, and I believe that's why they left the hint, because it's very hard to work out exactly what time they're asking for. But you can see from the hint that they're looking for something at 49 seconds, whatever, PM, and that correlates with this logon here, or this event here, even though there are several events that meet that criteria before this event. So I don't know, weird question. Not sure exactly what we were looking for here, but yeah, this is the answer. So I'm going to copy and paste this here. I think I can right click and copy. Let's go back to TryHackMe. Put our answer in here, make sure that the format matches what they're looking for, and that's correct. So what tool was used to get Windows passwords? So, I didn't do this before, but now I'm thinking about it. We can double check that file is actually Mimikatz by getting the hash, hopefully. Let's go back to C, temp, and then we're going to open a command shell here with, I think it's left shift, and then open command window here. Yep. Actually, I need PowerShell. Can I do that? Maybe not. All right. I'm just going to open PowerShell and then navigate to this directory. I forgot how to, and I don't want to waste any more time. And let's see, can we make this bigger? Font. Let's go like 20. Perfect. All right. So let's do CD, C, temp. Whoop. Typo. All right. LS or dir, either or. Let's clear this. So we're going to get the file hash of the mem.exe. Get file. I think we can, so you can start tabbing. You can start typing, then hit tab, and it will auto-complete the command for you. Get file hash, and we're going to specify the algorithm using algorithm, and I'm going to get SHA-256 just because. And we're going to look at that mem.exe. And here is the file hash. So we can take this to VirusTotal and just to verify exactly what file this is, or we can just speculate either or. So yeah, obviously this is malicious. I mean, 50 out of 71 vendors have flagged that file. But getting attribution, let's see. I'm sure it says Mimikatz somewhere here. It has to. We can go to the community and see. Here we go. Rule encoded Mimikatz, 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 and these are all. Sorry, can't see that. These are all Yara rules that basically search for malware, and you can see Mimikatz is all over these results. So we pretty high level of attribution that this is Mimikatz, and based on the command that we're seeing, we can pretty much say that it's definitely Mimikatz. And let's just look at that command one more time, just for clarity. Where is it? Game over. Yeah, here it is. So mem.exe, and you see that is gathering login passwords. If you're familiar with Mimikatz, I believe it dumps hashed passwords from LSAS, and you can. I'll include some links down below that you can read up on if you're unfamiliar with Mimikatz. But yeah, it's dumping the passwords out to this ctemp.o.txt directory, which I don't believe exists anymore. I guess it already got exfilled. But anyways, I'm gonna copy and paste this because I always forgot to spell this, and paste it in here. Mimikatz. And that is the correct answer. So what was the attacker's external control and command server's IP? And we're going to circle back to this, and I'm going to jump here to this last question. And so check for DNS poisoning. So a way to do that, or a way that attackers do that sometimes on Windows machines, and probably Linux as well, is to manipulate the hosts file in Windows. So host file, Windows, location, and basically, if you can, we'll talk about it here in a second. Let's find it first. So I'm gonna copy and paste this directory. Hopefully this is the right path. And we're gonna, if I could find the virtual machine, we're gonna paste that here. And we're gonna open it with Notepad. Cool, so that is correct. And all right, so all of these are like local or local IP addresses. Excuse me. We see this loopback IP, this 127.0.0.1. And then here at the bottom, we see 2 entries for Google.com, which is kind of strange. And we can go check out these IP addresses. So the intrusion happened in 2019, and you'll see why this is kind of weird. Let's go to who is. We're going to paste that IP here. So yeah, IPs can jump around, blah blah blah. IP address might not belong to a single entity for forever, but this IP was registered in 2001. The intrusion happened in 2019. So we have a high percentage of confidence that this IP address belongs to whoever is detailed down below. And we see that this is not Google whatsoever. This is Legacy Time Warner. So somebody might have been hosting something here in the past, like a C2 server or whatever it was. But the threat actor used this infrastructure to do something on this host. And this is interesting because they are basically hiding their tracks by using Google.com as their exfil, but it's really not Google. It resolves to that IP address instead of an actual Google owned IP address. So if we go and like ping google.com, you would think that it will resolve to like maybe 8.8.8.8 or something along that lines, but it resolves to that 76.32.97.132 that we saw defined in the hosts file here. So basically this is a way for them to hide their tracks, and TryHackMe defined it as DNS poisoning. We can just Google it to get a better definition. So DNS poisoning happens when fake information is entered into the cache of a domain name server, which we saw with the host file on the Windows server, resulting in DNS queries producing an incorrect reply, sending users to the wrong website. So the user would enter google.com and get redirected to whatever site that was hosted at that 76 blah 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 IP address, which is pretty interesting. Enough talking, I guess. So the IP address is here, the one that we looked up earlier. And the site that was targeted was google.com. And so what was the last, what was the last port the attacker opened? I'm just working my way up that way, upside down. And if a port was open, it should be defined in the firewall. Windows firewall, yep. And we can check the inbound rules. And the first thing you see, if you're familiar with CTFs or anything at all like that, this should stand out as being very obvious, not legit service. You see some normal stuff like 80 and 443. You see 135. But that doesn't matter because it's the first entry. I don't know if we can see who created it or when it was created. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, we don't have any information. We could probably dive deeper into the logs in the event viewer to see exactly when this was created. I'm sure we could, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So the port that was specified or created by the attacker was just 1337, which spells out leet. And we can double check that this is correct by going back to TryHackMe. 1337. And what was the extension name of the shell uploaded via the server's website? So this is a Windows server. Off bat, we should be looking at IIS because it's a default Windows web server, and I believe it's like built in by default. So IIS, or Internet Information Services, is an extensible web server created by Microsoft for use with the Windows NT family. So let's look for IIS directories. Maybe we can see if a file or something was uploaded to the web server. So the default is usually C. Let me zoom in. The default or the root folder for IIS is C inetpub. And we can go back to our host or our VM to see if there's anything in that directory. And as I noted before, something interesting was the date modified for this folder. So, and it's the same day as that we've defined as being the day of the intrusion. So let's check out inetpub, go to www.root, and we see some interesting files here. The first one I clicked on was a shell. It looks like a rose maybe, or a blood stain. I don't know, it's pretty creepy regardless. Then we have two JSP files. So what is JSP? JavaScript something maybe? JSP file. JSP file is a Java document used to dynamically generate a web page using Jakarta server pages. Interesting. JSP web shell. Hacking with JSP shell. So yeah, this is something that is used. We can see pretty obviously this is used in hacking. So this is definitely something we want to check out. Let's go back to that host and let's check out the first one. And we're going to open with not Notepad because it's a jumbled mess. We're going to open it with WordPad because it's a nicely formatted structure here. All right, so we see this first file is a program. This JSP program allows remote web-based file access and manipulation. Excuse me. So this must be the file that was dropped after they got the shell, because you have to get a shell first, or a lot of times you would like to get a shell first. That way you can run commands on the remote host. Then we have this test.jsp. And, ooh, here we go. So you can see if request.parameter is attempting to open CMD, if it's not equal to null, print command requests. So it's looking to execute this this parameter, which is command or CMD command line. Basically is spawning a shell on this host via the web server IIS. So I would bet that this was created first, and then this allowing the threat actor to easily view and navigate through the directories on this host. So I think we have our final answer here. This is JSP file, this extension here. So let's check .jsp, and that is correct. So yeah, this was pretty short and sweet, to the point video. I know I've been away for a while, but it's been busy. Happy to be back, and I'm going to start making videos again. I have our office, me and my wife share office, but we have everything set up and good to go. So I'll be back here more frequently, and I appreciate you all. I appreciate the 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend, reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want to chat, and as always, stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.